Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conversations and Connections with me, your host, Sandy McGregor. I'm so excited that you are here, that you have joined us today. I have a very special guest, and I know her personally, and I'm very excited to introduce to you my beautiful niece, Akor Balmer. She is here today to share her story of her life. And the one thing that's really special, Akor, today is your journey of adoption. And today marks 15 years. So this is Happy Adoption Day.
Thank you.
Such a joy. I remember 15 years ago, like it literally was yesterday. I can't believe how fast time has gone. But I am so honored to be able to be here today to talk to you about your journey and your faith story. I know it's going to be such an amazing encouragement to people. So thank you everyone for joining us today. So let's learn all about you, Akor. Tell us
Mhm.
who you are, your family. Let's just learn about you.
My name's Akor. I love to, do sports. I love basketball. It's definitely one of my favorite sports. I love to go shopping a little too much. Um, and I love to go to the gym and just work out and, stay healthy.
Awesome.
Um, a little bit about my family. We're a big family. We do have 8 kids, or there's 8 kids.
Yes.
Um, and we're all very different. We all have different personalities. But I think that's what's so cool about our family. Um, and so yeah, we all love each other. We're all bonded together. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So whereabouts do you fall in the order of your family then?
I am the fifth oldest.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about your, just because I know you love fitness and we love watching you play. So whenever your mom sends us videos, well, she does all the time, or she posts it for us to see, which is so great.
Yeah.
We had a chance to see you, was it last year? We saw you play
Um,
last year or the year before? Time flies.
year before, yeah.
Yeah. So that was really special to see you play basketball in person. And I know that you're very passionate about that. But talk a little bit about your fitness journey and just what you love so much about sports.
Um, I just think they're really fun, it takes your mind off like real world and like
Mm,
school. It's just fun, It's fast paced, and
yeah.
just yeah, time filling,
Mhm.
really.
Mhm. Yeah, I get that. That's amazing. It's a great way to spend your time. I think it's amazing. Lots of
Yeah.
discipline, self-control, and focus, and it's hard. You're always so committed, and I'm always so proud of you for everything that you do.
Mhm. Thank you.
So I know that you and Peter were adopted 15 years ago from Ghana, Africa.
Yeah.
And I also know that you came into this family, and your dad is a pastor.
Yeah.
And I know your mom is an incredibly talented cake pop decorator, creativity galore, so many different things that go on in your family. But you came into this family, and they do have a faith background, obviously.
Mhm.
So talk a little
Yeah.
bit about the faith in your family and how that has become your own faith.
Yeah, I've always grown up with the church and with like Awanas, learning verses,
Mm.
and youth group, like listening to the preacher talk about, Bible stories. But like around age 16, I would say, is when I started to make my faith my own by, memorizing the Bible and taking notes and
Mm.
starting to pray, but more intentionally, not just thank
Love
you for
that.
this food type of prayer, but more for like others' wants, needs, and concerns, and just trying to build a relationship with the Lord on my own.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
What I love that you just said was the whole idea of taking notes. And
yeah.
why do you think that is so important, taking notes?
Definitely to go back to, what you read before because, you can always reread the Bible and you
Yes.
always get something different every time you read it. And
Right.
so just taking notes helps to remember, what you read before.
hmm And I'm sure you take notes all the time when your dad's preaching.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. It's really true, though. I completely agree. I am a huge note taker and I love journaling. And I think it's a really important part of me just memorizing and
Yeah.
actually soaking in the sermon because sometimes it's a lot.
Yeah.
And to sit there for 45 minutes or even more, I need to actually go back. So
Yeah.
I completely agree with you for sure. So let's talk a little bit about um, as this role you've had as kind of younger sister and older sister. So you kind of have almost like interesting stages in your life when you first came into the family and you were very young. So I know that your memories would be much different, maybe even than Peter's would be. But
Mhm.
what was it like for you growing up in this family when it was just, Jake and Zane and Mallory and you and Peter? And then maybe talk about that transition when the next three arrived unexpectedly, but divinely appointed. So, yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so growing up, I think it was pretty awesome. I had so many different perspectives of like life because all my siblings are very different, they been through different things, and so I got to see, what not to do and what to do as I
Yes.
grown up.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been like it was easy growing up with my family, just playing like siblings usually play and all that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah, but like transitioning into becoming an older sister,
Hmm.
was hard. Even though I've always wanted little siblings, it was hard to give up, all the attention on me,
Hmm.
since I was the youngest. Um, but it was definitely something I had to pray about and talk to God about because it, yeah, it was definitely a challenge. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, you talk about the fact that the challenge being like you were the youngest to all of a sudden you're like an older sister. So maybe you could encourage somebody today that is in a similar situation to you where they did have younger siblings come in through the adoption process and became an older sibling. What would you say to encourage them in their journey?
Definitely just know that little kids always look up to, older individuals. And so just
True.
have in the back of your mind
Yeah.
that they do love you and that even when it's hard sometimes, just give it your all and just let them know that, you care for them and that you love them, even
Hmm.
though, it's hard.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love the fact that you brought up the whole idea of mentoring. And you probably didn't realize it at the time, but you really were an instant mentor, kind of just like what
Yeah.
Mallory would have been to you, or even your older sibling, like Zane or Jake. But specifically, you had this unique opportunity to become a mentor to Taya, Vanica, and JJ in a really special way. And I think it's just such a unique position for you to be in. And I know that there's highlights and I know that there's challenges. But maybe talk about a few or even just one or two highlights of this whole idea of becoming this new family unexpectedly. What were some of the highlights of having these three kids come in to join you guys?
Definitely just, seeing the progress. From, them calling my parents by their names to mom
Mm,
and dad. That was cool. And seeing them, really just be themselves
yeah,
around us, and seeing how we all came together as a family.
yeah.
So easily too. It was really quick.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And maybe some of the challenges, because we all have challenges in families. Because, like you said, I love how you pointed out the different personalities, because
Yeah.
we know, and sometimes the personalities clash, and it's hard. Just that's just life because we're all different and we have different perspectives and viewpoints. But what would be some of the challenges in this moment of transitioning into a larger family? And then how did you overcome that?
Mm. For me, definitely like sharing mom and dad and just
Mm,
having everything be fair because the big family, when someone else gets something and you don't, it's hard.
yes.
So yeah, I would say I overcame it just always by praying and
Mm,
trusting God and just remembering that they are your family and
right.
they matter a lot.
Yeah.
And so it shouldn't really
Yeah.
affect you.
Yeah, well, but it does, and I think in your
Yeah.
honesty is that, but it is true, and I love the fact that you talk about trusting God in the journey, and just praying about it and talking to your parents about it. It's really important because
Oh
it is a
yeah.
big change. It was a big life change for your family, just like it was when you and Peter arrived, and but the gift that you and Peter have been, and now Taya, Vanica, and JJ and Jake. I mean, it's such a beautiful story, so many different ways of how God moved in your parents. And this is what God called them to do. He said, this
Yeah.
is what you're going to do. You're going to be bringing these kids into your home. And it has changed our lives as aunts and uncles and then all the cousins. It's just been so exciting and so wonderful. And I just can't express how much we love you guys. It's just so much fun. We love our family get-togethers and we love how big it
Yes.
is. And it's always crazy and I love it. It's so much fun. I love that. So let's see. You so you've talked a little bit about your sibling relationships, which is really exciting. And I love how you talked about the fact that you've seen change and growth in them, because I can only imagine from their perspective the challenge of coming into another new environment. But I have watched you be such a beautiful example of a sister and a sister that loves them for who they are. And because you put God first in your life, He's really strengthened you. And I've
Yeah.
seen you grow and mature over the years, and it's been really wonderful to watch that. So very thankful for you. Yes.
Thank you.
So let's see. You are finishing off grade 12,
Yes.
and let's talk a little bit about your future plans.
So I'm going to be going to Liberty University in the fall, 2025, and I'm going to study exercise science to hopefully become a physical therapist.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I love helping people and
Mhm.
making them become, better in their full self.
Yeah,
So,
that's a wonderful, wonderful perspective. Do you
yeah.
think that knowing you have been adopted into the Balmer family, has that helped you become that kind of a helping person? Do you feel like that has changed you and your perspective?
Yeah, definitely big part of it. Yeah, like I've said, I've had a bunch of role models, and
Mm.
so yeah, I've experienced
Yeah.
good and bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's great. So let me see. Do you have a favorite worship song or a Bible verse that's really encouraged you that might be a really amazing blessing to somebody that's watching or listening today?
Yeah, Colossians 3:17. It's like whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord or for the Lord.
Mm.
I really like that verse. It just
Mm.
speaks to me because it's really nice to have that perspective,
Mm.
even when like you don't want to do the things you should do. So
I totally agree. You're
yeah.
not alone. That's wonderful. What
Yeah.
about a song? Do you have a specific worship song, maybe?
Um, I really like Goodness of God.
Mm. That's
Yeah. I
amazing.
think it's Hillsong United.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a classic one. Love it.
Hmm.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm really excited about is that your parents agreed to allow me to share your story in a children's book. And you and Peter have also agreed. And so thank you for allowing me to write your story. So
Yeah.
I have not announced it yet, but this is going to be kind of how I'm going to be announcing that I have a new book coming out. And it chronicles your story of how you came to be a part of the Balmer family. So Lucy, from my first book, she's going to be heading with her parents to meet her new siblings, which represent you and Peter, and also all of the people in the world that have been adopted or adopting. It's a story of becoming a family and God leading a family to be a home for kids that need the love. And I think adoption is such a beautiful, beautiful representation of also what we are as believers because we are children of God. And
Yes.
so thank you for allowing me to write this book. and I can't wait for it to be out in the spring. And
Yeah, I can't wait to.
I'm very excited. So what, before we finish off today, do you have any last words of encouragement for somebody that would be watching today that might be struggling with the fact that they were adopted and trying to fit in or to navigate what that looks like? What would you say to somebody today to encourage them?
Yeah, just like don't let anybody like tell you that, you're not cool or anything for being adopted because it really is a cool thing and it's awesome that people, in the world just care enough to want to provide a home for you and
Mm,
love on you and start a family. I just think it's a cool opportunity and
yeah,
yeah, cool
yeah.
story for sure.
Yeah, it is a very cool story. And the
Yeah.
fact that I had, being an aunt, I have a part of experiencing that. And welcoming you guys into our family has been the most wonderful, wonderful thing, most beautiful, unexpected thing 15 years ago. I'll still never forget that part of
Yeah.
my sister's story. And it's really been such a blessing, not only to me, but to so many different people. And you, Akor, are such a blessing. You are such a gift. You're a talented and beautiful young woman. And I know that God has amazing plans for you. And I'm excited as you head off into this next part of your life after grade 12 off to
Yep.
Liberty University. And I can't wait. The story just keeps on going.
Yeah. Can't wait to finish it. For
It's going to be exciting. I love it. Well, thank you
yeah.
for joining me today on the podcast and sharing a
Yeah.
little bit of your story. And I can't wait to also just kind of keep tabs with you and see where things are going. And I look forward to more conversations to come.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, Accor, is such a treat. Talk to you soon.